Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. This bullpen's a fucking problem. Are we shocked? Are we shocked at all? No. No, we are not. Because this Phillies bullpen is a goddamn problem every time they come into the game, besides maybe two players out of the bullpen, Matt Strahm and Jose Alvarado. Those are the only two guys you can rely on the full course of an 162-game season. And even those guys are going to give up their fair share of runs. That's a given for bullpen arms throughout the course of the season. But when those guys, on the fact, I'm not worried about Jose Alvarado and Matt Strahm, you know, in the grand scheme of things. The one thing that does concern me, though, is they're being forced into 90% of the games in the first 3 weeks of the season. It's been 3 weeks in the season, and those guys have probably pitched 90% of the games because the rest of the bullpen doesn't cut it. It doesn't cut it. Remember yesterday when I said you had 2.5 guys that you probably rely on because Orion Kerkering is very hit or miss? Well, you got the very miss part of Orion Kerkering, so you can throw that half out of that equation and just have two guys in that bullpen that you rely on, because you can't rely on anybody else. Because anybody else that comes out of this bullpen, it's a stress inning. Even when the game is completely lopsided, it's a stress inning. They can't come clean. They can't even get a 1, 2, 3 inning. They can't even, you know, if they allow damage, they just can't hold off the damage. It just has to be stressful. It has to be putrid. It has to be horrible. It has to be ugly. I just don't understand what the issue is. It doesn't make any sense on how everybody that comes out of that bullpen, it is a goddamn nightmare. Basically, besides Matt Strahm and Jose Alvarado. And Matt Strahm in the top of the 10th inning, you're going to allow runs. Yeah, did he hang 2 bad pitches in probably the worst possible times? Yes, but like I said, over the course of 162, I'm not overly concerned about Matt Strahm. It's going to happen. But when Orion Kerkering comes into the game, allows 2 leadoff hits, and then allows a 3-run shot after he gets 2 outs after that, that can't happen. That can't happen. After where it looks like the Marlins are struggling to hit his fastball, you decide to finally throw a sweeper, and it's the worst possible sweeper that you can throw. Yeah, why are you even thinking about throwing that sweeper? Just throw fastballs. Your fastball is your best fucking pitch. Throw it and realize it's your best fucking pitch, because guys can't fucking hit it. Jesus. Alvarado does easy work. He does his thing. It's Jesus Luzardo. I feel so bad for this guy. I feel so bad for this guy because he got screwed over in this game. He should have gone at least 8 innings in this game. I firmly believe that. Jesus Luzardo should have gone 8 innings. If it wasn't for that top of the 7th inning where both Bryce Harper and Bryson Stott botched ground balls. Bryce Harper botched the ground ball, which allowed a runner to advance to third base, which made it 1st and 3rd with 1 out. And then also Bryson Stott bobbled what probably would have been an inning-ending double play. He bobbled it. And then, ensuing the very next inning, Jesus Luzardo doesn't come back onto the mound, and then Orion Kerkering gives up the 3-run shot that gives the Marlins the lead. So if Bryson Stott manages to make that double play, if Kerkering does come in the next inning, it's a tied ball game instead of giving the Marlins the lead. Or if Bryson Stott gets that double play, maybe Jesus Luzardo comes back into the ball game, which he should have been to begin with, because he was only at 88 pitches. Jesus Luzardo was fantastic the entire day, and I have no idea what they were saying, when Ricky Battaligo and Michael Barkane come up in the top of the 7th inning, where they're saying that, oh, Jesus, he hasn't looked that sharp. Jesus Luzardo had a low pitch count. They were hacking early at every single pitch, and he looked good. He has looked good. There is no reason to complain about Jesus Luzardo. What the fuck are you even talking about, Ricky Battaligo? 7 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs, 1 of those earned. The other one was unearned because of Bryson Stott. 7 strikeouts on 88 pitches. He lowers his ERA to 2.08. He should have went back out for the 8th inning. At that point, he was going into the 7th inning barely throwing 70 pitches. He was perfectly fine if it wasn't for the Phillies' defense in the top of the 7th inning. He should have gone back out for the 8th. Personally, I would have put him out there for the 8th because an 88 pitch count going into the 8th inning, that is perfectly fine. But then you should also be able to rely on one of the guys that's supposed to be in your back end of the fucking bullpen to not allow a 3-run shot to a fucking no-name guy in the fucking lineup that had 5 RBIs tonight. What's going on here? Javier Sanoa, who the fuck is this guy? He gets 5 RBIs on the day, hits a 3-run shot, 3 for 4. What's going on here? How do we not retire these guys? Come on. What the fuck's your issue? Jesus. I'm not going to give the offense a break either. You put up a 3 spot in the bottom of the first inning, then you only had 2 runs the rest of the way. You scored a run in the bottom of the 4th inning, and then you scored a run in the bottom of the 8th inning thanks to the fucking Marlins' terrible defense. That is the only way you scored your runs today. And if we look at the way they scored their runs, Bryson Stott had a bunt single in the bottom of the 1st, and Trey Turner had a single, and made it 1st and 2nd. Those 2 eventually stole 2nd and 3rd base. Bryce Harper had an RBI double, which scored 2 runs. Nick Castellanos with a single that scored it and made it 3-0. So there you go. Okay, top 2nd inning Marlins make it 3-1 on the sacrifice fly, but Jesus Luzardo settles down from there. Now let's look at the Phillies the rest of the way. Bottom of the 2nd inning, 1-2-3. Bottom of the 3rd inning after a 2-out walk by Schwarber. Nothing happens there. Then you go bottom of the 4th inning. Alec Bohm with a double. Rojas with a single, which moves Bohm over to 3rd base. Marchand gets an RBI single, made it 4-1. You had more chances. Stott strikes out. And then Rojas gets caught stealing, going to 3rd base, so get thrown out on the base paths. That can't happen. Bottom 5, Trey Turner hit by a pitch. Then he goes to 2nd base on a wild pitch during the Bryce Harper at bat. Bryce doesn't do anything. Kyle Schwarber strikes out and Castellanos grounds out. So a runner in scoring position there does not go your way. Bottom of the 6th inning, nothing happened. You go down 1-2-3. Top 7, your defense was the reason why the Marlins even got that run, made it 4-2. Bottom 7th inning, nothing happens after Trey Turner reaches it on an infield single. Top 8, Kirkering out there allows 2 leadoff singles, then gets the next 2 guys out, and then Sanoja, 3-run shot to make it 5-4. Bottom 8, Schwarber flies out the lead off the inning. Castellanos then walks as the Marlins go to the bullpen. Kepler gets hit by a pitch. Bohm grounds out, but the Marlins booted the play, which allowed Kepler to be safe at 2nd base and Bohm out at 1st. And then Stevenson comes in the pinch hit. He actually got caught up because Brandon Marsh got put on the 10-day IL. Cal Stevenson up at the plate. Grounds one into the infield. The Marlins second baseman booted the second ball, like the 5th fucking ball he booted today, and allowed Stevenson to get the first base save, and a run scored because of it made it 5-5. Top 9, Alvarado's gets the inning done with ease. Bottom 9, Marlins gifting you this game to win. Trey Turner walk. Bryce Harper hits at the 3rd base. The 3rd baseman boots it just a little bit to allow Bryce Harper to beat it out at 1st. Then Kyle Schwarber pops up on a hanging pitch. Then Nick Castellanos made good wood, flew out to right field, which ruined your chance to win the game. Top 10, Matt Strahm out on the mound. He got the first out, and then a bunt single. You can't do anything about that because it was the perfectly placed bunt in the world. And then a sacrifice fly on an 0-2 count. Not the best pitch in the world by Matt Strahm after the guy was struggling with inside fastballs. I'm not sure why you go to a slider. And then Sanoja, who has been your kryptonite today, 8-pitch at bat, finds a way to single after Myers steals 2nd base, which allows another run to score. 7-5, manufacturing runs the Marlins are. And then bottom 10, your bottom of the lineup. Once the Marlins scored that 2nd run, I knew the Phillies weren't doing anything in the bottom of the 10th. They go down 1-2-3. Kepler pops up, Bohm flies out, and then Stevenson grounds out. Just a joke. Just a complete joke. Complete joke. Like I said with Jesus Luzardo, he was fantastic. I feel bad for him. Jesus on the mound today. It's fucking Easter. Happy Easter, by the way, everybody. Jesus rises. He's on the mound for the Philadelphia Phillies. He deserved a lot better, but Jesus always gets fucking betrayed by fucking everybody because why not? Orion Kirkering, he got betrayed by Orion Kirkering today. 1 inning, 3 earned runs on the fucking 3-run shot. 1 walk, 1 strikeout on 24 pitches. Fucking horrible. Alvarado only threw 8 pitches, 1 strikeout, pitched his full inning. He was dominant. And then Matt Strahm allowed 2 runs, 1 of those earned because it was a ghost runner in the top of the 10th inning. Looking at your lineup, the Phillies had 10 hits today. Bryson Stott 1 for 5. Trey Turner had a really strong series. He went 2 for 3 with a walk and a hit by pitch. Bryce Harper, he went 2 for 5 with 2 RBI. Kyle Schwarber did not have a good game. He went 0 for 4 with a walk. Nick Castellanos 1 for 4. Max Kepler 0 for 4. Alec Bohm 1 for 5. Johan Rojas 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Cal Stevenson came in. He went 1 for 2 with an infield single. I don't know why they even counted that as a hit. It should have been a fucking error. RBI there. And then Rafael Marchand 1 for 4 with an RBI. Phillies went 6 for 18 with runners in scoring position. They left 10 runners on base. It's not like they didn't have a bunch of chances. Yeah, they went 6 for 18, but you still had a bunch more. Stott went 0 for 1. Rojas 1 for 1 in his runner in score position chance. Bryce Harper 1 for 2. Stevenson 1 for 2. Bohm 0 for 2. Marchand 1 for 2. Schwarber 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. Turner 1 for 1. Kepler 0 for 1. And Castellanos 1 for 3. Jesus Christ. My God. Horrible. Completely horrible. And what you think in a grand scheme of things, winning 2 of 3 in a series, you know, that's the name of the game, right? Winning 2 of 3 in baseball, that's your goal every single time, is winning 2 of 3 games in a 3-game set. No, the Phillies find a way to make that feel fucking horrible after yesterday's game, where it should not have been a contest whatsoever, where it's a complete blowout 9-1. Your bullpen comes in, allows 3 runs to score, and then when you make it 11-4, your bullpen allows 6 runs to make it 11-10, to where you have to force Jose Alvarado into the game to throw 2 fucking pitches to get the final out. And then today, when your starter on the mound goes 7 innings, your bullpen comes in and blows it once again. Am I living in fucking fantasy land here? Am I living in a fucking nightmare? No, this is fucking reality. The Phillies bullpen sucks besides 2 pitchers. That's a problem. That's a major problem. You expect to fucking win a World Series? Ha, you're not winning a fucking World Series with this fucking bullpen. Let alone the other flaws with the team. You're not winning a fucking World Series even close to a fucking round in the playoffs with this fucking bullpen. It's atrocious. Every guy that comes in, it's a stress inning. Every guy that comes in can't have a clean inning. Can't get 1, 2, 3. It's always some type of issue where they're throwing 20+ pitches every single fucking time. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? It's even when you have a chance to win the game too, that's what makes it even more frustrating. You had a chance to win the game in the bottom of the 9th inning, and your big guys couldn't come up. Where overall, offensively, I would say for the grand scheme, your offense had a good series, which ends on a very fucking sour note with that, which is very annoying. Very annoying. Well, now the Phillies, in terms of bullpen ERAs in Major League Baseball, they have the 2nd worst bullpen ERA in Major League Baseball at a 5.81. 2nd worst in baseball. The team that is worse than them are the Washington Nationals. Dave Dombrowski, is he going to sit on his ass and try to make changes to this bullpen? Probably. Probably. He's probably going to be sitting there just drinking his tea or whatever the fuck he likes to drink, his coffee, his water, or I'm trying to think of something, the most bland thing that Dave Dombrowski can probably drink out there that has... I don't want to say water is bland because I really like water. Nothing is good than like a nice ice cold H2O. I'm trying to think of the most blandest thing. I guess water is probably the most blandest thing because there's no flavor in water. So probably water. Probably water. There's nothing. There's nothing. You know. Really. I don't know. I lost my train of thought there. I'm trying to fucking make a thing here for Dave Dombrowski and something that he's just like so blah. That's basically what I want to describe it. Blah. Where he's not going to do anything to improve this bullpen because he's going to use the same excuse of, oh, it's only April 20th. It's only April 20th. You're going to have ups and downs, blah, blah, blah. It's so early in the season, blah, 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 blah. No, your bullpen's a fucking problem. When your bullpen's struggling this badly against the Miami Marlins, it's a fucking problem. When your bullpen struggled that badly against a very bad Atlanta Braves team, it's a fucking problem. When your bullpen struggled very badly against the St. Louis Cardinals, that's a fucking problem. When your bullpen has struggled in basically every single series to date for this season, that's a fucking problem. It's a pattern. It's an issue. You gotta fix it. There seriously isn't anybody else in AAA, AA that are putting up any other numbers that are way better than any other reliever that we have now. It can't hurt. It can't be worse. It physically can't be worse, I feel. I don't even know. I probably shouldn't even think of a drink for Dave Dombrowski. It's probably what's the blandest food that you could probably eat? I'm trying to think, what is the bland oatmeal? Freaking probably oatmeal. Oatmeal is probably the blandest thing you can eat. Dave Dombrowski chowing down in his oatmeal. Everything's fine. Love my bowl of oatmeal right here. Quaker Oats, whatever the fuck it is. I don't even know. I'm just tired. I'm so tired. Tired of all the fucking monstrosities here, man. It really is. Factor. Should have won a series. Should have won a series. Should have won the series. How about WrestleMania? How about WrestleMania last night? How about Paul Heyman turning on CM Punk and Roman Reigns for Seth Rollins? Didn't I call that last night? Paul Heyman was going to side with Seth Rollins, and like I said, the whole grand scheme of this thing is probably going to be something to do with The Rock, the final boss. A lot of people selling their souls to The Rock. John Cena did it. Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman look like they're doing it right now. Who's going to be next? Is Randy going to sell his soul to the final boss? Is Drew McIntyre going to sell his soul to the final boss? Maybe. That was more entertaining. I'd love to talk more about WrestleMania than this fucking Phillies team, because at least that was fucking entertaining. At least the main event of last night's WrestleMania held out for a very bland first show. Hopefully night 2 continues off of what the main event did. Night 1 was very boring. Yes, a lot of the matches were not up to par, but the main event basically, I would say, saved it. The main event was very good. The triple threat between CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins was very good. It was very entertaining. So I think the main event lived up to the hype and probably saved night 1. Now, hopefully, like I said, hopefully night 2 can continue off where that main event left off and just continue the hype, because I do think there's a lot better matches tonight to suffice for that. Because now it's making you think, oh, is something going to be connected now to tonight's main event with John Cena and Cody Rhodes? What's The Rock going to do and all that crap? You know what I mean? Who are the Birds picking in the 7th round? I have no fucking clue, Sean. I haven't looked at anything in the NFL draft. I haven't fucking looked up anything. I'm more worried about the fucking NHL draft, and that's not till June. That is not till June. Oh my god, the Phillies. They're painful, man. They are painful. They are very painful. 13-9 on the season. Still, I think, 2nd place in the NL East. Yeah, still 2nd place in the NL East. Braves, they're starting to win games now. They're 8-13. They've won 3 in a row. Mets are 15-7. Yeah, Ric Flair probably would be better out of the bullpen. Ric Flair and his decaying body. Same thing with Hulk Hogan and his decaying legs. Would be way better. Would be way better. Way better. We got a text from John. I don't think fucking Caleb Cotham is the fucking issue. They just bringing in pitchers that suck. Every guy they bring in let's let Caleb Cotham rework this dude. Because let's be real, Caleb Cotham has done a lot of great work with some arms in the bullpen, like reshaping their careers here. But why does that have to be the case every single time? Can't we just give Caleb Cotham a good pitcher? Can't we just get him a good pitcher to work with? Why does everything have to be a reclamation project? That's what I want to know. No, Caleb Cotham is not the issue. He is far from the issue with the coaching staff. I'd fire Kevin Long way before Caleb Cotham. Hell, Caleb Cotham is probably the only guy that I'd have to keep on this entire fucking coaching staff. Dabrowski likes low-fat yogurt. Harper's too worried about gender reveals. Strom's too worried about honoring his daughter with a glove. Well, I'm not gonna... Like, they're allowed to do that, Sean. Let's not like that they're not allowed to do that. If Bryce Harper wants to do a gender reveal, he can do that. If Strom wants to do something for his daughter, he can do that. I doubt that's distracting them from playing the game. Yeah, granted, with the way the team's playing, it's probably not the best look, but I can live without. I'm not going to harp on them for that. That's something in their personal life. Like, if Bryce Harper just wants to use a blue bat to reveal his new baby boy, that's fine. If Strom wants to use a glove that his daughter designed, he's allowed to do that. I'd rather listen to Cole Hamels than frickin' Mike Schmidt. That's for at least. What else? Might as well listen to Sean's call too. Get that out of the way, so we could just continue to talk here because I got 2 hours until WrestleMania unless Brodes is doing a video here, unless Brodes is doing a pod. So let's get the Sean's call.
Kudos to the fans at Citizens Bank Park who sent the team to New York with a well-deserved round of booze. What an embarrassing loss. What a way to spoil yet another homestand. What a way to take an easy win off the board from Jesus Luzardo. Why? Because your team can't hit their way out of a damn paper bag. Your bullpen is absolutely wretched with anything not named Alvarado. You let a 5'7" midget drive in 5 runs on your ass today. You let a pitcher making his major league debut look like Sandy Koufax out there. I mean, we can go on and on and on. Just, again, another, picture of bad job by Dave Dombrowski. I mean, can Max Kepler hit a ball out of the infield? Can he hit a ball hard? I mean, my God, it's just embarrassing. Again, you take another nice start, what should have been an easy win away from Luzardo because your team implodes. And I blame Rob Thompson too. Why couldn't you have let Luzardo start the top of the 8th?
That's what I'm asking.
I mean, I know the team was kicking the ball around the inning before, but he was still at like 81 pitches. Yeah. Let him start the inning, and let's see what happens. Now you go to New York. We know they won't lay a bat on Tyler McGill tomorrow night. They never do. And Nola is Taiwan Walker. He can't throw the ball over 90 miles an hour. So that's a loss. I mean, just, again, there's no other word other than wretched and disgraceful today. You let a bunch of cast-offs who weren't good enough to be on their own team come together and collectively kick your ass. Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter to you too, Sean. Happy Easter to you too, Sean. Yeah, you're right. Good old Dave Dombrowski. And I know you guys always try to torment me for being fucking positive. I just can't do it anymore. I'm not even being positive, but I know you guys tried to harp on me for being positive in the beginning part of the season, but now it's way long past expired to be very annoyed with this team constantly. I hate feeling this way. I really do. I hate feeling this way. I do. Where is Middleton? That's what I'm asking, Julian. I think Middleton is also responsible for why the Phillies had such a lackluster offseason. I think Middleton's also responsible for that. I think he limited Dave Dombrowski's options. I think he limited Dave Dombrowski's ability to spend money. I really do think that's the case. I really do. I think John Middleton did not want to go over the third luxury tax as much as they were, or even further than they were right now. And he said, Dave, you can only spend X amount of money. I can't do much here. I can't spend money like we do, like the Dodgers do. I can't spend money like that. So, not saying John Middleton is fully to blame, but I do think he's partially responsible for it. Even, for president of baseball ops, you still gotta make do with your resources. But when your resources are also limited, it's gonna be hard to make those decisions. So I think Middleton's also responsible for the lackluster offseason. Because I think Dave Dombrowski truly believes in this team. I truly think Dave Dombrowski just believes in this team. I think that's just what it is. I really think that's just what Dave Dombrowski does. I think he just truly believes in the way the roster is constructed. And Boston Red Sox fans did say stuff about his bullpen moves. They, when the Boston Red Sox won the World Series in 2018, that Red Sox bullpen was atrocious. That Red Sox bullpen was terrible. They were just able to out-hit everything. And their starting pitching was really good. They were able to out-hit the mistakes. This Phillies team can't do that. He tried to build this Phillies team like the 2018 Boston Red Sox, and it's coming back to bite him in the ass. That's what I think he tried to do. Like, the only thing of positives that I can think of from this, even though, like, at this point with this series, with this final loss, it sours everything. Bryson Stott had a solid series in the leadoff spot. Trey Turner got his average back up to 270, so that's a really good thing. So hopefully his bat starts to heat up. Bryce was off and on in this series. The power is back with him, but it's still not fully consistent. Kyle Schwarber, he's starting to go into hit or miss right now, hit or miss mode, or like all home run or nothing, which is kind of annoying. So Nick Castellanos, he's going to have his good games, he's going to have his bad games. That's the Nick Castellanos experience. It's your bottom of the lineup. It's your bottom of the lineup. Your top of the lineup did most of the carrying today. Turner had 2 hits, Harper had 2 hits, Stott had a hit. Turner was on base, I believe, 4 times overall, 5 times overall. Yeah, it's your bottom of the lineup. Kepler 0 for 4, Bohm 1 for 5, Rojas. Even though Rojas had a solid series, it's still Johan Rojas. I'm not really buying much into that stock. Stevenson got lucky. I don't even know why they even recorded that a hit. And Marchand has not been good with the bat. Yeah, Cody Clemens is on the team. I don't know why they don't use him. I don't know why they don't use him at all. I don't know why they don't use Cody Clemens. But it's also to a point where we're constantly asking for Cody Clemens. If Cody Clemens is a fucking solution, your team fucking sucks. And maybe we're even talking about that right now. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the prospect. Well, obviously, Logan O'Hoppe is probably the big prospect that he traded away. That, I guess, at this point could have been helping right now. But, that's... If you win a World Series, those traits don't, look as bad as they are now. If you win a World Series if you won a World Series during this stretch, those traits don't look as bad. Trading Logan O'Hoppe doesn't look as bad. Trading Ben Brown doesn't look as bad. And that's basically it. I don't even know what other prospects have you traded. I don't remember. Eric Miller. I don't even know who that is, to be honest with you. I don't even know who Eric fucking Miller is. Eric Miller, 27 years. Did he trade him? Eric Miller trade. Oh, the Junior Marte. Oh, he was in the Junior Marte trade. Jesus Christ, I did not even know that. And he has a 1.29 ERA. Yep. What's Matt Vierling doing right now? What is Matt Vierling doing? Batting 250. That was last season. I don't think Matt Vierling has played this year. No, he's not played this year yet. I guess he's dealing with an injury. But look at Matt Vierling's numbers last year. Yeah, batted 257, 312 on base, 423 slug, 735 OPS, 16 home runs, 57 RBI. It's a solid bottom of your lineup hitter. 261 average in 23, 329 on base, 388 slug, 717 OPS, 10 home runs, 44. It's a solid bottom of your lineup player that can play center field. Yeah, Matt Vierling would be 20 billion times better than what they have right now. What's Gregory Soto doing right now? What's Gregory Soto doing right now for Baltimore? Watch him be shoving. Okay, he's not shoving, but it's probably drastically better than whatever our bullpen guys are putting up. Yeah, it's still drastically better than probably most of our bullpen guys right now. He's got a 3.52 ERA in 7 2/3 innings. 1.57 ERA. Let's also look at Sir Anthony Dominguez. What's he doing for Baltimore right now? Well. Good old Sir Anthony Dominguez in 8 1/3 innings for the Baltimore Orioles. He is 2-0 with a 0 ERA, 10 strikeouts and a .96 WHIP. Looks like Sir Anthony has figured shit out. Oof. That is oof. Who did they trade Sir Anthony for? To Baltimore? Who did they trade him for? They traded Sir Anthony for Austin Hayes. They traded Soto for the minor league starter that we have right now. That wasn't it. And I don't even think Austin Hayes is playing right now for the Rays. I think he's injured. So yeah. Jesus. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Jesus fucking Christ. Who did we trade it? Who did we trade it Gregory Soto for? Trade. I know it's one of our minor league pitchers. Who did the Phillies trade Gregory? Seth Johnson. What's Seth Johnson doing in the minors? What is Seth Johnson doing currently in AAA or wherever he's at? So far in, Jesus, 2025, he's 2-1 with a 4.42 ERA and 18 and a third innings. What's his game log look like? Did he have a bad game recently? Yes, his last outing was not the best. Yeah, his last. So before his outing on April 16th, he had a 1.88 ERA, and then he allowed 6 runs. So, joy. 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 Let's look at Ben Brown. Chase was also in the trade. Who? Oh, Chas, Phillies. Moises Chase, or Chase. Moises Chase. 21-year-old bullpen arm, it looks like, I would assume. 6.14 ERA in 7 1/3 innings, 9 strikeouts. Nice. Nice. Ben Brown, let's look at his numbers so far for the Cubs. Ben Brown, 2-1 with a 4.57 ERA and a 1.75 WHIP. He is 25 years old. Not that Ben Brown's going to be anything spectacular, but he probably would have been like a solid depth starter for you. Last year for the Cubs in his 15 games. He pitched 15 games for the Cubs last year. Wow. He was 1-3 with a 3.58 ERA in 55 innings. This year in 21 innings, he's almost a 5 ERA. So it's not like he's anything spectacular right now. Right now, at least. Who did they trade Ben Brown? That was David Robertson. And David Robertson's on the free agent market. You could bring back David Robertson. He's out there. He is out there. He's still out there. He'd probably be better than anybody else you have in the bullpen right now. Let's see what else is there. Phillies bullpen, they gave up 5 runs today after giving up 9 yesterday. They gave up 14 runs in 2 games. Your bullpen gave up 14 runs in 2 games. 14 runs in 2 games. That's what they did. Let's see the Phillies trade history. Why not? History the past few years. Why not? Let's make ourselves even more annoyed. Active transaction. Oh, Jesus, there's so many fucking transactions I am not reading that list. 2025 transactions. I am not looking at all those transactions. No, thank you. Dave Dombrowski started in 2020 during the I think he was brought in here either during the COVID season or after the COVID season. I forget when he came to Philadelphia. When did he come to Philadelphia? Philadelphia, December 2020, so that was after the COVID year. That's when he came in. Came in after the 2020 season. Yeah, 2021. Yeah, so he came in during 2021. That was after COVID, so I'm assuming McPhail and Clintack were still here during 2020. I'm telling you, this is what I firmly believe that John Middleton's plan was here. And I'm bringing John Middleton into this entire thing. So did he trade for? No, he didn't. That wasn't. Oh wait. No, that wasn't. 2020 was not Dave Dombrowski. That was Matt Clintack. So you're talking about like Brandon Workman and all that stuff. No, that wasn't. That wasn't Dave Dombrowski. It was Brandon Workman. That wasn't Dave Dombrowski. Dave Dombrowski was Kyle Gibson and Ian Kennedy. That was Dave Dombrowski in 21. What was I just going to say? Oh yeah, John Middleton. Oh God, Heath Hembry. Yeah, Workman and Heath Hembry. That was Matt Clintack. John Middleton. Let me get back to my fucking point here. So what I truly think is, because when Dave Dombrowski, he goes to teams, he is pillaging farm systems, he's trading for big names, he's signing big names, he's trading for all these things, he makes big trades, he does all the big things. When it comes to Philadelphia, he doesn't do that. Realistically, he'll make some signings. He make a big free agency splash, with Kyle Schwarber, with Nick Castellanos, extending Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, where he brings in Trey Turner. So he makes those big signings. But in terms of the trades, he really hasn't fully left the prospect system. Like when he was brought here, I think John Middleton wanted Dave Dombrowski to really, and I mean really, reshape the prospect system. When you bring in Preston Mattingly, you changed the way that the entire development system is laid out, the entire development system is ran, and make sure that you can develop prospects and make sure that you can, develop prospects that you can use in trades, develop prospects that can come, up for your team and so on and so forth and everything like that. And I think John Middleton is telling Dave Dombrowski, hey, we can't have a stretch of time where the Phillies are a terrible team, where they're so many games below 500, where they're picking at the top of the draft, where they're almost near 100 lost seasons, where we have so many bad contracts locked up, go figure, where we really can't do anything and we have no prospects. So I think that also ties into why the resources this offseason were limited for the Phillies to do anything, because I think John Middleton played a hand in that. And I think his mindset is that, look, we can't trade away all these prospects. We need young players to come up when eventually the payroll does get lesser, because you do need younger guys. And my game plan here is we're going to have some payroll shedding after this year. So once we have some spurt of youth, we can also go out and sign guys again once that payroll drops, and then we influx our roster with more youth and on team friendly deals to where we can go afford to decide those bigger contracts. That's what I think. If I'm completely off base, I'll say that, but that's just what I think John Middleton's plan is. That's what I think John Middleton is doing. I think he's trying so hardly and so badly to avoid the stretch of 2012 to 2018 or 2017 where the team was just so goddamn awful. He doesn't want that again. He wants where they're constantly competitive. That's what he wants. He wants a team that's always going to fight for the playoffs. He wants a team that's, has youth that you can infuse into your roster and also going out and spending, but not spending too much. We can go over $300 million in payroll and all that stuff and everything there, but we can't go too far. And we can't put ourselves into a spot where we're bad for so long. That's what I think Middleton's doing. That's what I think. Well, he traded away prospects, Julian, but he didn't trade away the top prospects. Besides Logan O'Hoppe, he didn't trade the top prospects. He kept Andrew Painter intact. He's keeping Justin Crawford. He's keeping Aiden Miller. He's keeping those three guys. He's keeping like the prospects that the team really likes. And then other prospects that are probably not near the top 100 list in baseball. Because I don't think Ben Brown was a top. I think the only top 100 guy that they traded was Logan O'Hoppe. I think he was the only top 100 major league prospect they've traded. But Ben Brown wasn't a top 100 guy. What some of these other guys weren't top 100 guys and everything like that. So I think that's really what John Middleton's trying to do. We got to keep our top prospects. We can probably afford to trade some of them, but like the really main guys can't trade. I still don't see Dave Dombrowski having a gigantic trade deadline. Honest to God, I still don't see them. No, I really don't see it, because you can't preach we're going to keep these prospects. We're not trading Aiden Miller. We're not trading Andrew Painter. We're not trading Justin Crawford. You can't preach that and then panic and trade them. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. It's never going to happen. Yeah, I just don't see that happening. If Dave Dombrowski hasn't done that in so long, why would he do it now? That's my thing. If he hasn't done it, why would he do it now? If you're just constantly preaching we want to keep our guys and these guys are untouchable, you're not going to trade them. You're not going to trade them. You're going to go into the offseason. You're going to let some of these guys that are making salary come off the books. You're going to let JT get off the books. Whatever you do with Kyle Schwarber, you do with Kyle Schwarber. Alec Boehm's off the books. Whatever you do, whatever happens with Ranger Suarez happens with Ranger Suarez, and you have money that comes off the books. And then Justin Crawford fights for a roster spot next year. I would assume Aiden Miller fights for a roster spot next year, unless he goes to AAA or something like that. Andrew Painter will be on the roster next year, and that's basically it there. That's really just, yeah, Frank. He's just going to make trades once again that makes the team marginally better. He's going to make trades that makes the team marginally better. That's all he's going to do. That's what he's been doing. Marginally better, marginally better, marginally better. Instead of taking that next step to make your team drastically better. Just margins, just a little margins. That's basically it. That's what Dave's going to do. I wouldn't expect anything less because he hasn't done anything basically major. So that's really just what I expect at that point. It's so disheartening that on Easter Sunday, April, we're 2.5, 3 weeks into the season. I think 3.5 weeks at this point, that we're already having these conversations because they were so predictable. And like I said, I tried to preach positivity. I tried to preach it was pointless to keep talking about this in the beginning of the season because the season hasn't started yet. 3 weeks into the season, it's reasonable now. It's reasonable now. Because you can't avoid the red flags with the team. You just can't. Because they're always going to be glaring. They're always going to be glaring. They're always going to be obvious. It's going to be there. They're going backwards every year. He's not going to make a major trade. I just don't see it happening. He hasn't done it at all. He hasn't done it through his entire year as a Philly. As the Phillies president, why would he do it now? And even though the article that came out last year after the trade deadline where John Middleton was talking about you can't be too complacent, you can't keep saying that things will just get better and you have to strike while the iron is hot, I firmly believe that John Middleton's saying that. Does he believe it to an extent? Probably, but I also think that's him trying to save face with the fan base. I think that's also him trying to save face with the fan base. Because I do think John Middleton's idea is he wants to have constant, sustained success, I guess you could sustain. I couldn't get that word out of my mouth. Sustained success. I think that's a team that's always going to be fighting for a playoff spot every single year. While you can flush in some talent through your prospect system, you can spend some money here and there, you can always keep your team afloat, you can always compete while you still have Bryce Harper under this contract, because I also do think that's part of Middleton's plan. He wants to remain competitive throughout the entirety of Harper's contract. I think that's also in play there. So, your chance to win, obviously, your best chance to win was 23. I understand losing in 22 because you lost to a better team. You lost to a better team in Houston. I still firmly believe 2023 Philadelphia Phillies, they were the best team remaining in baseball. They should have been the Arizona Diamondbacks. They should have been in Texas if they got to the World Series. 2023 was your best shot to win a World Series. I know people are going to say, oh, 2022, you were in the World Series, you were up 2-1. Realistically, when it's those guys' first time getting into a World Series, where it's Zach Wheeler's first time where he obviously looked gassed, Aaron Nola's first time where he obviously ran out of gas, it's understandable losing to a better team at that point. A team with a lot more experience, an Astros team that was basically on the back end of their dynasty, but still was a very dominant team. 2023 was your best year. 2023 was your best year. 2023 was your best year to win a World Series. Even with those flaws, Julian, they were still one win away from a World Series. I still think they were the better team remaining in baseball. I think they were better than that Texas Rangers team, but honestly, who knows what would have happened in that series, but I think they were better than that Texas Rangers team. I think they were the best team remaining that year, and they failed. They lost to a team that was drastically worse than them in Arizona. Lost to a team that was drastically the worst when, in the first 2 games, they showed their strength, and they showed why Arizona wasn't that good of a team that time, and they choked. They choked. And they choked. But here's the thing, Gamer of Legends. The Phillies didn't have a bad bullpen the past few seasons. The Phillies actually had one of the better bullpens the past few seasons. It's just that you lost so much depth in the bullpen. Now it's bad because you're basically looking in the bargain bin right now. And not every bargain bin move is going to turn out successful. Not every bargain move is going to turn out like Jeff Hoffman. It's not going to happen. And Caleb Cotham's not going to save every guy from the bargain bin. That's just not physically sustainable. Caleb Cotham, for as good as a pitching coach that he is, he's not going to save everybody. When a guy sucks, a guy sucks. When a guy sucks, a guy sucks. That's just bottom line. Like, you had guys out there on the market that were available. Tanner Scott was available. Estevez was available. And I'm going to keep coming back to this because I understand letting Jeff Hoffman walk, because originally Jeff Hoffman wanted to be a starter, and then Jeff Hoffman failed 2 physicals. He failed 2 physicals with the Atlanta Braves and the Baltimore Orioles before he landed in Toronto because Toronto got desperate. And yes, his numbers look really good, but I understand the idea of not signing a pitcher to a big money deal because he failed 2 physicals. You needed to bring back one of Hoffman or Estevez. Hoffman fails a couple of physicals, you reroute to Estevez. I don't know why you didn't bring Estevez back, but that also doesn't mean there wasn't any other bullpen arms in the market. You had Kyle Finnegan, you had Tanner Scott, you had a bunch of bullpen arms out there on the market, but you go for the bargain bin. Go for the bargain bin. You try to get Jordan Romano off of a major injury that ended his entire season early last year. Try to rely on him coming back to form. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Looks like that's going to slap you right in the fucking face. You had chances to go out there and get better talent. You just didn't do it. You didn't choose to. Did not choose to. Yeah, you take a risk with an arm like that with Tanner Scott. If he starts to struggle a little early on, and yes, bullpen guys are different year after year after year, but when you have a top guy in a bullpen that's out there on the market, you have to go try to get him. And that goes back to, yes, Jeff Hoffman failed a couple of physicals, then you had to bring back Carlos Estevez. You can't Just can't let both of those guys walk. And that's what you did. Now everybody on Phillies Twitter is like, oh my God, why didn't you bring back Jeff Hoffman? Why didn't you bring back Jeff Hoffman? Without looking at the context clues, why Jeff Hoffman failed 2 physicals. I understand that. You should have brought back Carlos Estevez. Phillies got the run. I don't think they gave up that much for Tanner Banks, if I think so. It was probably like a let me see, Tanner Banks trade. I don't think they gave it that much for him. It could have been for cash considerations, honest to God. Minor league infielder William Bergolla. What is he? William Bergolla, prospect. William Bergolla. 20 years old. So I'm assuming he was an international signing. He's playing in AA right now for Chicago. For Clearwater, he batted .255. He's an on-base average guy. That's what it is. His numbers aren't the best. Okay. So single A last year for the White Sox. Solid numbers. He's not a power guy. He's just like he's a Johan Rojas. That's what his average is. He's a Johan Rojas. But he's a Johan Rojas, but his averages just look a tad bit better. He's a on-base guy. He's an average guy. He's not going to hit for power. He's a bottom of your lineup type of hitter. That's what it looks like. But you never know. Well, now even though it does sound like Taijuan Walker will be fine for his next start, I'm not sure when Ranger Suarez is going to come back. He should be back soon, but yeah, I do agree Ranger Suarez should be in the bullpen. Because you need so much bullpen help. So much. You need so much bullpen help. It's not even funny. But I don't know where you get this bullpen help if it's just not from internally. By just calling up some guys. Oh yeah, you're right, Julian. They don't have that much international talent. I do agree with you on that front. Hopefully, this Acuna relative becomes really good. Even though I think this Acuna relative's like 14 or 13 years old, he's only like verbally agreed to sign with the Phillies. I don't think he can sign with the Phillies until he's like 15 or 16. So you still got a couple of more years till they sign this Acuna relative. Let me look at the Phillies prospects list. Prospects. Let me look at their top prospects rankings from. So we got Andrew Painter, obviously their top prospect. Andrew Painter's their top prospect. Obviously Aiden Miller, Justin Crawford, Eduardo Tate. They're very high on Eduardo Tate. He's 18 years old in Single A. What are his stats right now in Single A? So he's playing in Clearwater currently. He is so for the Florida League rookie ball. This is last year. Last year in rookie ball, he batted .321 with a .377 on base and a .500 slug. For Clearwater in Single A, he batted .269 at .316 on base and a .462 slug. This year for Clearwater, he's batting .235 with a .322 on base and a .471 slug. 793 OPS. He's still only, I believe, 18 years old. Yeah, he's still very young. And then they have this Moises Chase guy that they got in the trade, I'm assuming for Gregory Soto. Dante Nori, an outfielder, he's 20 years old. Griffin Burke. A lot of these guys are so young, too. Like Painter's 22, Miller's 20, Justin Crawford's 21, Tate's 18, Chase is 21, Nori's 20, Burkholder is 19, Gabriel Racones is probably the oldest guy on this list. Okay, Seth Johnson's the oldest guy on this list. He's 26. Racones is 24. Who's the youngest guy on this list? Eduardo Tate. Some of these international guys. Yeah, international. That's from last year. But how many Phillies prospects are even in the top 100? I need to see that. Andrew Painter's still in the top 100. He's still the top 7 prospect in baseball. I think Aiden Miller's in here too. Aiden Miller, he's the 25th ranked prospect in baseball. And I think Justin Crawford's the 60th ranked prospect in baseball. Also, Eduardo Tate, he's the 89th ranked prospect. So they got 4 guys in the top 100, if that's worth anything. They got 4 guys in the top 100. Where did they get Eduardo Tate? Eduardo Tate. No, I don't think they'll trade Tate. They're very high on him. Trust me, when Dave Dombrowski says they want to keep these, they're going to keep these guys. They're going to keep Painter. They're going to keep Miller. They're going to keep Crawford. They're going to keep Tate. They're going to keep those top 4 guys, most likely. That's what I would assume. Where did they get him from? Was he? I'm assuming he was an international prospect, probably, yeah. He was 100% an international prospect. So, yeah. Who's there? Wait, you said Kemp? Is Kemp a prospect? Kemp. Otto Kemp. He's 25 years old. Otto Kemp, Phillies. Otto Kemp, Phillies. 25 years old, batting .275 down in AAA, 372 on base, 972 OPS this year, 6 home runs. Yeah, it's worth a shot. It's 100% worth a shot. He's a third baseman. He's not an outfielder. He's a third baseman. Worth a shot. Isn't Lehigh Valley like really good this year? Lehigh Valley Iron Picks, MILB standings. I feel like the AAA. Standings, AAA. Where's Lehigh Valley? Yep, Lehigh Valley, they are 14-7. Lehigh Valley is 14-7. Can I go to like some of their stats? Team stats, individual stats, hitters? So overall, what's Rincon? Who's got the most home runs on the team? Or So Otto Kemp does have the most home runs for Lehigh. Then it's Rincones. Who has the highest average? Well, that's in a minimum of games. Can I like set it to a minimum of games? I guess not. Whatever. Even though, who's played the most games? Otto Kemp. Otto Kemp's a third baseman. That's why they're probably not even calling him up. Unless they're playing him in the outfield. Have they been playing him in the outfield? I'm not entirely sure. I feel like they have been, for some reason. Justin Crawford's been really... Justin Crawford, he's batting .293, 337 on base. 378 slug. Crawford's never going to be a very much power-heavy guy. He's a slap hitter, which, honestly, the Phillies could use. 715 OPS. Otto Kemp's numbers are very good. Rincona's numbers, he's batting 257, 291 on base, and a 473 slug. Rincona's looks like a major power guy. So, yeah. Oscar Mercado, 300 average. Buddy Kennedy's batting 280. Buddy Kennedy, good old Buddy Kennedy. Yeah, let's look at some of the pitching here, because I'm sure some of the pitching has been really good for Lehigh Valley. Filter it by Can I filter it by bullpen arms, or is this is just filtering it by starters? Okay. Can I just do... To qualify, pitcher must have 0.8 innings per team game. Okay, I don't know why that's a factor. Team. Okay, that's just gonna... Why can I just do... Oh my god, I just want to do pitchers. Jesus Christ, why... Just let me fucking filter it, man. God damn. All positions. Pitcher. Pitching. God damn you. There we go. Jesus. Yeah, there's one bullpen arm. Joel Kuhnel. 10 in the third innings, 1.74 ERA, 0.87 WHIP. Can't hurt. Koyo Aoyagi, 1.29 ERA, 7 games, 7 innings, an exact WHIP of 1. Perfect time there. Yeah, Trey Turner could be a center fielder. That definitely could be an option. Trey Turner could be your center fielder. I wouldn't be shocked. Max Lazar, 3.38 ERA. Nicholas Padilla, 0 ERA in 7 games. Devin Sweet, 1.17 ERA. Yeah, you got some guys down here that are pitching well. It can't hurt. It can't be worse, personally. Jeez, I'm going an hour here. My God. I'm going a full hour here. Oh, yeah, the Mets definitely will not hold back. I'm not expecting much in this Phillies-Mets series. Honest to God. Not expecting much. Not expecting much at all. Not expecting much. So, let's see. I've been going on an hour, wasting some time until WrestleMania Night 2 starts. It's the most important thing. They won't bring up anybody for the bullpen, so because that forces Dave Dombrowski to admit he's made a mistake. It's a good point. It's a good point. Dave Dombrowski probably doesn't want to admit that he made a mistake. Man. Oh, man. Jesus. So, might as well end this off in a couple of seconds here, but let's look at the upcoming series for the Phillies, because why not? They don't play at Citizens Bank Park, thankfully. So, they got 2 road series coming up, and they finally have a day off during this week. They finally have a day off on Thursday. Yeah, he did DFA Familia, so, but it's just like, you got to realize now that your bullpen arms aren't good enough. Like, you picked up a guy on waivers to be in your bullpen. It's going in the bargain bin for that. So you got a 3-game series here against the Mets. Aaron Nola tomorrow against Tyler Miguel. He's been very good for the Mets this year. 2-0, 1.40 ERA. Had 2 straight starts of 0 earned runs, but he hasn't gone past the 5th inning this year. He'll probably go 7 innings tomorrow against the Phillies, because that'll be, Phillies. Christopher Sanchez on Tuesday going up against Griffin Canning. He is 2-1 with a 3.43 ERA. Then on Wednesday, Zach Wheeler going up against David Peterson. He's 1-1 with a 3.27 ERA. So, there, go figure there. The Mets offense hasn't been the best, but their pitching has been their major strong suit, because the Mets are also having issues with runners in scoring position, I believe. Then they play against the Chicago Cubs. Taijuan Walker on Friday, Jesus Luzardo on Saturday, and Aaron Nola on Sunday. Are we looking at a 2-4 road trip? Can they win a game on this road trip? I don't know. I cannot guarantee that to you, Julian. Cannot guarantee. Who do they play after this road trip? They come back home for Washington. They start May against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Honest to God, they might get swept against Arizona at this rate, with the way their offense mashes. Tampa Bay, 3 games on the road, 3 games in Cleveland, 3 games at home against St. Louis, 3 games at home against Pittsburgh, 4 games on the road against Colorado, 3 games in Sacramento against the Athletics, 3 games at home against the Braves, 3 games at home against the Brewers, blah, 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 the rest of the schedule. Blah, 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 the rest of the schedule. Whatever. Yeah. Definitely isn't going to be the most fun week. I can definitely guarantee you that. I'll be very much enjoying playoff hockey more than the Phillies. I'll guarantee you that. So, appreciate you guys for tuning out. Gonna end it off here. I did not expect to go an hour today, but it's what happens when you rant about the Phillies and you're also trying to kill time until WrestleMania. So, night 2, I guarantee will be a lot better. I can't wait for the main event. So, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to leave a like and drop a comment as well. You can also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Don't forget to use that. Also, leave a follow at TTPSports on TikTok and Instagram for real shorts, all the good stuff. My brain's melted, everybody, from watching the Phillies. My brain will be